Time now for business with Kate Moody. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Monty.
So the European Union has outlined some new measures to combat the rising or soaring price of energy. What can you tell us?
Well, they're formalizing some of these sort of ad hoc measures that member states have been enacting for the last couple of weeks. The Commission has not enacted any of these changes. It's just making them available to governments. Now, the toolbox includes emergency aid, payment deferrals, and temporary tax reductions for the most vulnerable households. It ensures safeguards to avoid being disconnected from the electricity grid, as well as possible aid for companies and a probe of potential anti-competitive behavior in the energy market. Now, the EU says it will not abandon its clean energy goals, and in the medium term wants to actually step up its investments in renewables and energy efficiency. Politically, that may be a hard sell if energy prices continue to soar. The European Commission said it would look into the possible benefits of buying natural gas jointly as a bloc, but it stopped short of actually doing so, not going as far as France and Spain had been urging. French Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire said the bloc needed to look ahead to the longer-term problem of energy independence.
France is asking for important changes in the European energy market. We don't want the price of electricity to be dependent on the price of gas.
Let's check in on the day's trading action now. Wall Street shrugging off some higher than expected inflation data in the U.S. And the minutes from the U.S. Federal Reserve meeting, which showed tapering could begin as soon as mid-November. The Dow Jones closing flat, the S&P 500 and NASDAQ with some gains there, the tech sector outperforming. The major European indices closed higher, gains of over 2/3 of a percentage point in each Paris and Frankfurt. The head of the International Monetary Fund is defending herself after surviving an ethics scandal. On Monday, Kristalina Georgieva was cleared and confirmed in her job as the IMF's managing director. The scandal dates back to her time as one of the top officials at the World Bank. She and her staff were accused of pressuring researchers to give China a higher ranking than reflected by the data in its 2018 Business Climate Report. That annual survey has since been discontinued. Georgieva said that international institutions must always strive to improve, but that the incident should not impact the credibility of either the IMF or the World Bank.
Problem was with one specific, rather controversial report at the World Bank, not with the research and data at the IMF. And I want to stress that our board was very explicit in recognizing the excellence of IMF staff and the integrity of IMF research.
The Biden administration says 2 ports in California will begin operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in an effort to ease a growing backlog. The ports of Long Beach and Los Angeles account for about 40% of the shipping containers that enter the U.S. Ports around the world are seeing similar traffic jams as global supply chains come increasingly under strain. Luke Schrago reports.
Shipping containers stacked high at Felixstowe and going nowhere. The port handles 1/3 of the United Kingdom's freight, but a bottleneck in logistics. In particular, the lack of around 100,000 truck drivers needed to move cargo has led to a backlog that could take months to shift.
I think that there will be some disruption this Christmas as a result of the HGV shortage, but retailers are really adept at making sure that, they prioritize the things people want, making sure that people's Christmas favorites are available to buy.
The world's largest container shipping firm, Maersk, is now offloading freight in Europe for transfer to smaller UK-bound vessels to avoid the queues. Such problems are global, but the UK's exit from the European Union on top of the pandemic has worsened the situation badly, with Brits now familiar with empty shelves and queues at petrol stations. However, lingering COVID backlogs are also affecting the other end of the supply chain. 40% of the world's container trade moves through Chinese ports to Europe and the US, and as demand outstrips supply worldwide, workers there are also struggling to stay on top of things to get shipping off in time for the holiday season.
We have a supply chain that has been focused on cost and efficiency, so there hasn't been a lot of slack capacity. And right now, when we have these surges in demand, that really kind of exposes the risk of not having enough slack capacity.
In the United States, the White House has been rolling out measures intended to ease the logjam, not least with 2 major West Coast ports moving towards 24-hour operations, along with the nation's 3 largest transport firms.
United States has overtaken China as the top location for Bitcoin mining. This after Beijing's crackdown banning activities related to cryptocurrencies. Mining is the process of solving complex algorithms or equations to release Bitcoins. New data showing over a third of Bitcoins came from the U.S. In the month of August. That's up from around 4% a year earlier. Kazakhstan, Russia, and Canada were the other leading destinations for Bitcoin miners. And a reminder, Monty, that this process of getting Bitcoins out of the computer system, very, very energy rich, and it's something that is a growing source of concern for environmental activists.
Yeah, that is a concern. Okay, thanks a lot, Kate. I'm going to turn now to James Creedon with